She's ready.
Find your way home. You are free.
Hey everyone!
Hello.
Welcome back to the channel.
Cool.
Today we have a brand new throwback game review for you, and today's all about...
God of War.
Yeah, that's right. And just a quick heads up, with all of our throwback reviews here on the channel, there will be spoilers, and all the footage you're seeing is running on a PS4 Pro. I still haven't updated to the PS5 yet, but yeah, eventually someday I'm sure we'll get our hands on one.
Yeah, PS5 is still very hard to get it.
Yeah. But, you know, I think with that said, we can just jump straight into our review of God of War.
Yeah, this is a very different game to me because I never imagined myself carry a son to take an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's different, of course, and good to try different games. It's to me it's a little bit difficult to understand the beginning. You know, if the son, if the boy is his son or not.
Right.
And the story, it was from a funeral.
Yeah, it starts out.
Yeah.
With the mother.
Yeah.
Being cremated. You have to get this tree and you know, cremate the mother. Then you get her ashes and you have to take it up to the top of this mountain by the end of the game. You know, it's kind of interesting to me. We reviewed Journey here on this channel before, and it's kind of a similar, you know, Sony Santa Monica had its hand in Journey, and it obviously has a huge hand in God of War. So it's kind of interesting that you kind of start out and then you have to work your way to the top of the mountain. Kind of like Journey, but different story overall, for sure.
Yeah, different. And it's very the gods in the game is very powerful.
Yeah.
Like they never, you cannot end them.
Yeah.
Permanently.
Yeah.
So it's always keep fighting and fighting. And also I like the game. They have the puzzles.
Right.
Like, everywhere almost.
Yeah, really, I would say cool puzzles. You know, for me, it's been interesting because Yajing, you know, if you're new to the channel, she doesn't have a ton of experience with games, and kind of every game that you've seen on the channel is Yajing's first attempt at gaming.
Yeah, all first time.
Yeah, so with God of War, it's interesting because I've played every God of War game from PlayStation 2, even the PSP ones. You know, I've played all of them, and this is Yajing's first one, so she missed all of the lore with Kratos from Greece, and she's really only getting the Norse mythology Kratos that's new to this version.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe some things were a little lost on you in the story because, you know, it is kind of like he jumped realms, and she doesn't really know about his Greek realm experience in every other God of War game except this one.
Oh, and I don't know his skill.
Yeah.
And you taught me how to use it. He has two weapons. One is for fire, one is for ice. When I should use the ice one, when I should use the fire one. Yeah, and also I didn't familiar to use the boy's bow and arrow to switch, and I just like, I'm using it. Am I using it? Am I not using it? It's difficult to tell at the beginning. And also, the only thing bothers me because I play game very frequently now, and we played so many games.
Right.
And every single game they use different button.
Yeah.
For jump, just for jump. Let me say this way, like this one, God of War, they use square. But a lot of the other games, they use the X.
Yeah, and it's kind of contextual in God of War, where you can't just press square and jump around.
Yeah.
You have to be like at a cliff that enables you to jump to another cliff, and then you press square.
And shoot the boy first, something like that.
Yeah.
My point was, I need reacting very quickly from my last game to this game.
Right.
You know, and to change my habits, to change the way how I used to play from last game.
Right.
It's gonna take me a while. In the beginning, every game, the beginning to me always not a very uncomfortable to play. It's just very awkward feeling.
Yeah, like jarring. Like, oh, I have to change all my habits.
And I need to tell my brain that I cannot press X anymore for jumping. I have to press the square. You know, you need to talk to yourself.
Yeah.
To keep reminding yourself, this is different game now. You need to change, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point because in the mornings, Yajing's working on her second playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima right now, and while I'm at work, you know, when I come home sometimes, she's playing Ghost of Tsushima, and then we would sit down and play God of War together. And yeah, the control schemes are totally different, which is totally fine, but I can see what you mean. It would be pretty jarring to jump between games if you're like working on multiple games at once.
Yeah.
God of War can be a little jarring because you swing either the chains or, you know, the axe with the shoulder buttons as opposed to
R1 for fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you play two games around the same time, it's really messed up your mind.
Yeah.
I keep, because when I remember so clearly that when I play the God of War, I keep hitting the triangle to fight, and I'm just like, why he's not moving?
Right.
Oh, R1, R2.
Yeah.
You know, it's another example to tell the difference, but I do see the difference between God of War and the Ghost of Tsushima, and to compare to Tomb Raider 2.
Yeah.
They're all action
Oriented games.
Yeah, but they do build up in different ways. And for God of War, I just feel I learned so many skills from Ghost of Tsushima. So in the God of War, I always, and also I did it in the Tomb Raider, I always go straight forward to the enemy first. Right. Actually, he has the skill to throw
the axe.
The axe, yes, to throw the axe for a long distance, and if you press the triangle, the axe comes back automatically. Right. But I didn't use to the way how it plays. I just always running to in front of the enemies.
Yeah. Well, I think with that said, what did you think about the sound design in God of War?
It's pretty different music. You told me it's very like, how to say, the Arab. Yeah,
like more Norse mythology or like Northern Europe. Pretty ambient sounds too in this game. Not a ton of like sweeping orchestrals, although there are some. I would say they really want you to feel like you're in this forest or wherever you might be in the game. You really hear it, but when things get kind of crazy, when you're fighting like a giant monster or something, or when the world serpent comes out of the water, you really feel like, whoa, you're seeing these massive, super scale, monsters in front of you. So it's pretty interesting. You get to see a lot of different areas in the game as well, and I will say the music changes depending on where you are. But I thought the sound design was really good overall. I like when you press triangle and the axe comes back to you. You feel it, so there's a really nice thunk like in your controller with the vibration, but also the sound is really good. It's like you like the sound. Well, I think they did the sound really well. Agreed. And I have to ask too about the graphics because, you know, Yajing and I, we've been playing a ton of games. If you've been watching the channel, we've been reviewing a game every single week here for all of you. And yeah, the graphics are, I would say, really good in God of War. I know God of War Ragnarok, yeah, it should be coming out eventually here. But I think the graphics hold up pretty well in this one.
Yeah, I agree. And the graphic is beautiful. Not as good as Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
No argue with that, huh?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. It's really good in God of War, but you can tell that the Sony studios learned more techniques with the PlayStation 4 as it aged.
Yes, but it's already, because it's come out before God of War for how many years?
For Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah.
I would say maybe 4 years, 3 years, something like that.
But you can, back to the time, I mean, it's pretty impressive,
yeah,
the graphic.
Absolutely.
Without to compare that. Yeah, so it's beautiful everywhere. They travel to every, like,
the different realms.
Yeah, the forest, the snow land, and the inside of like a dungeon.
Yeah.
You know, and when they are in the boat through something in the river, it's very beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's really well designed game. The graphics I think are really great as well. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think I'm excited to see God of War Ragnarok because I'm sure it looks better than this one. And I remember when this one came out, it was just stunning. One other quick thing about the storytelling and graphics that I actually find really interesting about this game in particular, God of War, is the camera never cuts to a cutscene. It's always behind you, and then you see the camera movement to other enemies or to Atreus, and then it comes back behind you. So there's never any like jump cuts with the camera, and I really think that's a testament to this team trying something unique with the storytelling. It makes you kind of feel like you're always there with Kratos and Atreus in the game, as opposed almost like a bystander. And I do like that. I think different styles work for different games, but they really made this kind of a reinvention of the God of War series. And I think they did a really good job with it. And I like that subtle camera design that they chose, where you never actually get a jump cut to somewhere else. It's always behind you, and then it moves, and then it comes back behind you. So you're never cut away from anything.
But when you are fighting, and when the enemy behind you, like the characters face the opposite way, you need to press the down arrow to turn the camera to see where is behind you. Right. This kind of moment is manually you have to change the camera.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good point. But yeah, I like that you are always there. It doesn't like Ghost of Tsushima, for instance, has a lot of jump cuts, which works well for Ghost of Tsushima. So yeah, you could be witnessing the Mongol invasion, and then it jumps back to on top of the hill.
Yeah.
You know, the discussion before you go and do that opening battle in that game. But here, there's no jump cuts like that.
No. Yeah.
Well, very cool. I think we're ready to review this.
Yeah.
Out of 5 stars, what would you rate God of War?
4.5.
4.5?
4.5.
I was actually going to rate it a 4.5 as well. Ooh. Yeah, we're really on the nose with this one. I like the game a lot. I think it's a really solid game. Definitely worthy of a lot of praise. I think just playing it now again, this is my second time playing through it. I I enjoyed it less than the first time, and I can see some areas it hasn't aged super well, but it is still a very enjoyable game, and I would highly recommend it if you've never played this God of War before. Yeah, if you played the other games in the series, absolutely pick it up. And if you've never played a God of War game before, if you like action, kind of semi-RPG elements in games, you could definitely enjoy yourself with this one.
Yeah, and that's like you can pretty follow the storyline pretty closely, and the one like open map, open world like Ghost of Tsushima, you can do whatever you want. But this one's pretty stick with the storyline, so you go next chapter or next scene right away. Once you pass this one, the current one you play. I mean, this is pretty focused and save your time too.
Yeah,
The game.
completely agree with you. All right, well that's a 4.5 out of 5 stars from us for God of War. But we want to hear what you think. Have you played this game before, and how would you rate it? Do you think 4.5 is a fair score, or would you rate it higher or lower? We're really curious to hear what you have to say, because we spent a lot of time with it, and yeah, definitely have some thoughts about it ourselves. So yeah, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, please. And we will see you next time.
Yeah, thanks so much for checking out the channel. And as always, we're going to have a brand new video for you from Seoul, South Korea later this week. So please come back to the channel and check that out. And yeah, until then, hope you have a great day.
Yeah, see you next time.
Bye everyone.